Welcome, Lund loyalists, YouTubers watching on John Lund Unleashed and the Bay Area Sports Collective, those watching on X and Instagram and listening on Apple and Spotify. It's John Lund Unleashed and JohnLundUnleashed.com. Brought to you by Riopel Cosmetic Surgery and Laser Center. Right now featuring amazing stem cell technology. For all your pain and for the guys, check out the latest in low T and testosterone therapy to make you feel like yourself again. Riopel Cosmetic Surgery and Laser Center at riopelcosmetic.com. Now, all juiced up and ready to go. Here's Johnny.
Yes, good morning as we're live from Las Vegas the next morning. You people got me off to a rough start. It's all your fault, not my fault. As you can see right there, mid-round magic, that's where we are. Well, not exactly to the mid-round. We're at the second round today, but this is where the Niners have done a lot of magic. You can see Jimmy there. We'll get into a little Warriors today. There's Kyle and John yesterday, a little Jed in the background. There's Mikael Williams, the first-round pick of the Niners at 11. We'll get some assessment from John, Kyle, so-called experts, all those kind of things. Good morning. I have glasses on this morning because it's a little rough, and I want to be able to see what people are saying today. So the debut of some glasses today on the show as I am live from Las Vegas for the show today, and we'll go over a ton of different things. If you are new around here, thank you for joining John Lund Unleashed. Make sure that you please give us a like, a follow, all those kind of things. We are on all the platforms from YouTube, John Lund Unleashed, where you subscribe, like, and make sure those alerts are on so you know when we're on, because we'll be popping through tonight too and giving you not a full show like we did last night, but we will give you, because it's Friday night in Vegas after all, but I will have this stick that I carry around and we'll be doing reactions to the picks. So make sure that you have your alerts on there. Bay Area Sports Collective, where I am, Tom Tolbert as well. Polymax Particles with Creative Tony, Rod Brooks, and Quality Hang. We're on all those places. We're on X this morning. Good morning to everybody hanging out on X at John Lund Unleashed. Thank you. Facebook, LinkedIn, all these other places, any platform. But please come over and join the chat over on YouTube, which is where all my friends are hanging out. We'll say hello to everybody and good morning on roll call in just a second, as you can see on the chalkboard there, which we follow oh so religiously. Episode 126, 49ers draft Mikael Williams. We'll get into the reaction to that from John and Kyle and some national reaction as well. Day two, where, as I said, the 49ers have done lots of magic in day two. Debo in round 2, Warner in round 3, all sorts of different things. George Kittle in round 5, Brock Purdy in round 7, Joan Jennings round 7. So everybody gets hyped and excited in mock drafts and all those kind of things for round 1, and that's great. But where the 49ers really have to hit this draft is today, 43, 75, and 100. They can move around. I still think we could see some things for some young veterans and some things like that, because, as I said yesterday, I don't think you're going to get 6 or 8 starters out of the draft. It's a deep draft, and the Niners took a bit of a chance in the first round, so we'll get into that. Picks I liked, we'll get into that in the first round as well, as you know, and I said numerous times yesterday, I'm not a draft grade guy. You haven't even taken the test yet. Lund looks hungover this morning. He's wearing glasses. F. Wait, I haven't even taken the test yet. No, you don't look good, dude. You're not going to do well. Conversely, some dude's going to look really, really good and well-rested, and it's like, hey, that guy's getting an A. What? I haven't taken the test. Sorry. That's the way I think. Shedeur Sanders, I've been telling you through the whole process, I did not want to be in the Shedeur Sanders business, and I think a lot of people in the NFL agreed. And so we'll get into that as he falls and continues into the second round. The Warriors game 3, all eyes on Jimmy Butler. I think he's going to play, but how effective is Jimmy going to play on Saturday? We'll get into that conversation. The Giants pen again saves them, and then ball dude, because Dave Fleming and Mike Krukow are just that great. So that's what we got on the show today. Let's say good morning to everyone. Go ahead, make fun of me. I know what you're going to do, but it's your fault. I'm not overly hungover. I would say that what I was or what I am is essentially I'm fairly smart, fairly. So we went out. We had a great dinner, a couple of nice cocktails. We're at the Paris in Las Vegas, so went to a French place, and I don't know, they're like this drink, that drink. I'm like, yeah, sure. If it's anything like an old fashioned, I'll drink it. And so they kept bringing them, and they were really good. And then the cardinal sin of all cardinal sins, when you're out in Vegas or anywhere having a cocktail and you're walking back to your hotel room, and then I come up with a stupid ass idea to go, hey, how about one more? and one more turns into three more, and espresso martinis and everything else. And so you're mixing a bunch of stuff. And I started, I think, with a beer yesterday when I was at the sports book doing the show and the NFL draft show extravaganza, John Lund Unleashed last night. And it was just dumb. But I come prepared. I stopped by a little convenience store on the way up to the room and grabbed, your Gatorades and different things like that, sugar-free, of course. And I have Alka-Seltzers and all sorts of contraptions and concoctions. And I took them all, so I feel pretty good. My wife, on the other hand, probably in a different place. Left her this morning. I'm like, you need anything? So she was a little different. We'll see. Pedialyte, Vernon, that is a great call. Let's say good morning. Exactly, that's what I did. Like the train ran through him. Yeah, Todd, my voice is a little bit not at its top level today, but that's all right. Like I said, I wouldn't say that I'm playing hurt, and even if I was, I have a philosophy which is if it's self-inflicted, you get no sympathy whatsoever. I've told my son that at age 21 numerous times. Like, sorry, dude, did it to yourself. You have no recourse on this kind of a thing. We're not going to feel bad for you. Good morning to Francis and Vernon and JJ Rada, which we talked about yesterday. Ashton Genty. They did like the pick here. They went crazy in the book last night when we were hanging out. Skills. Good morning to you, Daniel. Sorry you didn't win that bet yesterday. Danny Golden. Look at Danny from Phoenix, which is just a stone's throw. Well, if you got a hell of an arm. Sports Girl for Life. It is great to see you. I don't know if I've seen you in a while. Colin. Good morning. AJ Cruz. Hello. Nice to see you, man. Taylor this morning. Joy. What's up, Joy? It's nice to see you. Hey, there's me. 2 minutes. I don't know how close I was to that. Alberto, it is great to see you. Good morning, good morning. And as I said, if you are on one of the other platforms, come over to John Lund Unleashed on YouTube, and that's what I'm doing. I'm doing a little roll call here. Everybody's great in the room. You don't have to agree. We don't get loud and angry and pissed off. It's just the beginning of the day, and it's just sports after all. So, we're passionate, but we got it in its right place. You tripping. Always good to see you. East Gold, Red and Gold podcast. These are friends of mine that you should be following if you're a Niners fan. Where is it? Sorry, my eyes are a little off today. Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. You have the advantage of being 3 hours ahead at this point, so you're feeling fine. I'll feel fine shortly here. Get a little coffee in me, get a little food in me, and that kind of stuff. Very excited for the day. Baba Booey. Anthony, good morning. Mark, it is great to see you, my friend. Bucko Sports, hello. Kenny had some good stuff going on yesterday. Kyle, good morning to you. Todd, we've said good morning. Anthony, we said, I think. I could be being redundant here. I have no idea. Aaron, it is great to see you. Look at Todd's already rolling supers out here, man. Fresh pot. Yeah, I do. I need somebody. I am in an area here. I'm not in the sports book this morning. I'm kind of in a little corner, so I don't, so I'm kind of inconspicuous, but I do want this guy that's at the bar right now to give me some coffee, maybe with some juice in it. Let's go. And I don't mean orange juice. I mean, juice me up, baby. Vegas, what's up, Dry Double? That's nice. Good to see you, Dry Double. Don't know if I've seen you, but if I have, great. If I have not, welcome. Bill, Frank, good morning to everybody. Rockin' New Era 84, good morning. We will do a quality show today, regardless of how I feel. I'll tell you that right now. So here's the deal. Here's the show cover. Let's go back to it for a second. There is the monster, Mikael Williams, and I'll tell you who he reminds me of in just a second. Doesn't mean he's going to play like him, but I'm going to tell you a story. There's Kyle. There's John. They're excited. The gray fox is what Kyle's turning into. There's Jimmy laying on the floor. That's a big thing today. So we got a ton to get to today, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. Got a lot of video for you. I got some interesting stuff from Todd McShay, who I thought brought up a really interesting thought on Mikael Williams. But let's jump right into this thing. So Lance Zerline's a friend of mine. He does sports radio in Houston, but he also does a pretty amazing job when it comes to the NFL draft and breaking this stuff down. So he's the one, if you go to NFL.com and you look at the player breakdown, strengths, weaknesses, et cetera, that's Lance Zerline. He writes those, and he's been doing them for years. So this is his overview on Mikael Williams, and hopefully you can see that better than me. But an upside prospect with loads of traits. Williams simply needs more snaps and more time to fill out his frame. He's an explosive athlete who uses his exceptional length to keep tackles and tight ends at the end of his punch. He plays a little too tall at the point and needs to get stronger to shed blocks more quickly, but he plays with good physicality in the trenches, never pushed around. Still learning moves, counters, but he already has a big bull rush, a good secondary effort, and closing burst to become a sack blanket in the pocket. Well, that's a great term, sack blanket. He's not there yet, but Williams' improvement, impactful, and blah, 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 feels inevitable. That's from Lance Zierlein. I'll do strengths and weaknesses in a minute. All right, dude is 6'5", 265. Initially, I did not love the pick because I think in the first round what happens is you base it on what he could be. It's the Raiders' old Al Davis thing, just about size and potential. And potential to me is a bad word. We talked about it a lot of times. But he has all the traits. And so as I delve deeper into this, and I know you think last night I went out and went absolutely crazy, but right after we had some dinner and we went to the hotel room to change and go out a little bit, I spent about 30 minutes looking at some film and reading a lot of stuff and delving a little bit deeper. And then I did it more this morning. And who he really reminds me of, and it's not perfect, and I don't mean off the field, not at all. But when I saw Aldon Smith for the first time, remember, Aldon Smith was the 7th pick of the draft in 2011. And not a lot of people knew him. And that's the draft of Von Miller and J.J. Watt. And it was an amazing draft. And they took Aldon, did the Niners, out of Missouri, and nobody had heard of him. He was a sophomore. He was 20, which was part of the problem when he got to the 49ers because he got money and fame and didn't know how to handle it because he was immature. I don't know this guy about what his mentality is, but the Niners say that he's got great character. So let's go with that for right now because they've done a lot more work on Mikael Williams than I have. All right, so let's leave it at that. But he's 20. He's got all the traits. He's long. He's 6'5". Aldon was thinner and taller, so it's not exact. But what I'm saying is he was a 20-year-old in the 7th overall pick, and people were grumbling about it. But the Niners said, look, this guy has loads of potential. Now, off the field, it hurt him, but the first 3 years of his career, remember when Aldon knocked the ball from Russell Wilson in the NFC Championship game, which ended, we know how it ended and all that kind of stuff, but up in Seattle. And he was crazy good when he was focused. And I know Justin Smith had a lot to do with it too, but still, Aldon was a freak. And if he could have kept his head on straight, he would have been a Hall of Fame player. I don't think there's any question about it. But I told you the story yesterday about the first training camp I saw with Aldon Smith, and he was doing one-on-ones against Joe Staley. And Joe afterwards went into the media tent and was like, my God, this guy's a freak. And that's a bit of what Williams is for the 49ers. Has he reached it? No. So I'm going to play a couple of things. I'm going to play one from John and Kyle. I'm going to play one from Kyle, and they're supposed to love the pick. They're the ones who did it. They did the research. They did the work. They're supposed to love the pick. But then I'm going to play something from Todd McShay that I don't think a whole lot of people know about this kid, which I thought was a really interesting observation from his standpoint. So let me do this. Let me play Kyle first. Then we'll play John and Kyle, and then we'll play a little bit of Todd McShay. And by the way, love to get your thoughts in the chat line. Hit me up. What do you think? Do you like the pick? Do you not like the pick? I'm not a grade person. He has not taken the test. I don't know. I haven't interviewed him. I haven't talked to him. I don't know him. I haven't talked to enough people. I reached out to a couple of my friends that cover the SEC. A lot more than I do that know Georgia football. I haven't gotten back to me yet. I just want to know the guy. That's more for me. The 49ers said he's a great character guy. So, like I said, they've done the research. He was in on a 30 visit with the Niners. They talked to him at the Combine. So they know him. I don't. So I'm going to reserve judgment on everything on Williams. Here is Kyle, though. He is giddy. He is fired up for the rookie edge out of Georgia.
Nervous he was going a couple picks before us, so we tried to jump him, knowing, I mean, there was 3 guys that we believed one of them was going to be at us for sure, but all 3 were still there. But we wanted Michael so bad that we wanted to make an attempt, and John made that attempt. They shot us down. But I remember looking to him like, dude, awesome job going for it. Now, hey, we'll live with it, but at least we attempted, because we thought for sure that he was going a couple of picks before that. And then when he didn't go and he fell to us, it was fun to look at John and be like, I can't believe you tried to trade for him. We knew he was coming the whole time. So we were messing with each other a lot on that, because you never know in the draft. And to be able to sit there in a workout and get the guy who was our first choice, we couldn't be happier.
Williams has been praised for his athleticism, his long arms, his run defending abilities. How do you see him fitting into the D-line as a rookie?
I think he's going to be a huge help. We lost a number of D linemen last year. Everyone knows since John and I have been here, that's really kind of what we hang our hat on, trying to build this team through the D line. We got a number of good players here, but we need to add a number of new ones. And starting with him, I think it's huge. What he can do on the edge, but he's not penciled in on the edge. He rushes over guards as good as anyone we believed in the draft. He can rush at tackles as good as anyone in the draft. And however it pans out, we usually get 8, sometimes 9 up on game day. He's going to be one of the better ones, but there's a number of spots he can be at.
This is your second time revamping a defense alongside defensive coordinator Robert Saleh. How much input did he have into taking Williams at number 11?
Well, I mean, that was definitely his guy, but it was all of our guys. So we all felt the same. It was a pretty easy decision in terms of how the whole room felt, what we needed, what we always are looking for, and then he matched it. But just going through this with Saleh and John, our first 3 years here, and then knowing he did it somewhere else, and then coming back and having to do this again with us, it's nice to have guys who have experience doing it, and it's nice to have a guy who we know what he wants, he knows what we want, and makes it a little more fun working together, but you got to still get lucky.
Let me get back here. There is Kyle Shanahan. You can tell he's fired up in this whole thing, and I know if you're probably skeptical, and look, I am too. I'm not giving it an A, a B, a C, a D, a what. My initial reaction was, but they like him. They're excited. The two teams probably that they're talking about is Carolina, who ended up taking Tep McMillan, the wide receiver out of Arizona, then New Orleans, who ended up taking Kelvin Banks. And that's when I started to get excited for some players. Personally speaking, I liked Jalon Walker. I think Atlanta did a great job revamping their defense in the first round. They got Walker at 15. They came back with the Rams pick at 26 and took James Pierce, who the Niners wouldn't have taken. He's too thin. He's a pure pass rusher, might be a third down specialist. He's got to put on some more weight. Williams, one of the big things about him, and John and Kyle are going to address this in a second from the presser, but he's an edge setter already. Now, you can get an edge setter. Edge setters don't get paid tons of money. Sack guys do. So what we've heard so far from Mykel Williams is already a great edge setter. He's 6'5", 265. He's a legit guy, and he's strong with long arms. That's where I'm saying Aldon Smith. Aldon had these vines that were ridiculous. And like I said, in talking to Joe Staley after that first practice with Aldon Smith all those years ago, it was like, wow, like this dude's impossible to deal with, and that's Williams. And like I said, I'll play something from McShay in a minute, but that's where to me, the comparison comes in. Aldon was 20. Aldon was young. Aldon had these skills and these long arms, and that's what they took a chance on. And like I said, it's not the Niners' fault that Aldon was immature and couldn't handle it. The first 3 years in the league, he was an absolute monster. So I'm not comping him to that in that regard. I'm just saying that he reminds me right away of just 20-year-old, young, great skills. Can he live up to it? Here's John and Kyle on why they took Mykel Williams and why they're so excited.
How much upside does he have there?
I think he's got a lot of upside. His skill set is a guy that can rush with power. He's a good enough athlete where he's got some wiggle. He's extremely proficient. I think when they run games for that big of an athlete, I think he's a really good stop-start. Sometimes those guys can get going, but it's hard when a quarterback steps up, they can't change direction. I think he can do that really well. So he's got a lot of attributes. He's obviously got to come put them all together, but we're excited to work with him.
It's awesome when you got a guy that the more you watch him, the better he gets. And when you see how he uses his length and his arms and stuff, that stuff doesn't jump off the tape with everyone. Like when you first turn on Nick, when he was at Ohio State, you don't appreciate him the first time you watch him. But the more you watch him, you realize how much of a ninja he is with his hands and hand placement, all that stuff. And that's how Mykel grows on you, too. The more you watch him, like, man, this guy's, I knew he was good, but he's a lot better than I thought. And then, love him over guards. But he also can do it outside just as well. So to have that versatility, two areas that can help us a lot, and to be as physical in the run game and to be the type of guy he is, that's why.
All right, something that Kyle said there that I think is really key. He talked about him being able to move inside over a guard, and that's where the versatility comes in. So he's already good on the edge. Everybody has said that. Anybody you talk to already about Mykel Williams says he'll be an edge setter, but you don't get paid millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and get to that second, third, whatever contract if you're just an edge setter. You can go get those guys. You can find those guys. Gross Matos can be an edge setter, but he's not a good pass rusher. The guys who get the elite cash in this league are the guys who are both, and that's what they're hoping Williams can be. But one key thing that Kyle said there is if he's versatile enough, and he's 265 now, so let's say the Niners bulk him up because part of, and I'll give you some strengths and weaknesses in a second, both from Todd McShay and more from Lance Zierlein, who does a great job with NFL.com, like I said. But he needs to get stronger, they say. Now, he's got long arms. He's got the athleticism. He's got everything. If he gets stronger, bigger, and he's already 265, let's say he plays at 275, and now the guy's a menace because he's setting the edge. He's getting after the quarterback. And then you can run a NASCAR package, which essentially is you move him on passing downs from the outside to the inside, and then you get a a pure edge speed guy, maybe it's, 250, 255, or just your third down pass rush. And Williams is inside and Bosa's on one side, and you got a super fast guy on the outside in this wide 9. And all of a sudden now you're cooking with gas. So he's got some versatility, it sounds like, as well. And they might want to add some weight, some strength to him. So that's kind of interesting. Now, this one with McShay is intriguing because one of the reasons they took him is he's not a finished product. He had an ankle injury last year. He said he was playing at about 60%, and it was still bothering him through the draft process. It was a high ankle sprain. It got to him. But one thing I didn't realize was not only was it the high ankle sprain, but he just hasn't played a lot. So when you look at his production and you see like 4.5 sacks last year, you think to yourself, well, is that really the 11th pick of the draft? But some of it was the amount he played, actually. So here's Todd McShay breaking it down, formerly of ESPN, who does a nice job through the draft process, talking about the pick of Mikael Williams and why his upside is so high.
I thought
It
was Pierce.
His sack production wasn't great. You thought 4.5 sacks. You see all this talent, and we expect him to be like a 12, 15 sack guy, right? First of all, he had the ankle injury. Second of all, this is the thing that goes really unnoticed. He had the fewest snaps of any of the edge rushers in this class. Only 402 snaps. So the opportunity.
I thought it was Pierce. It's not Pierce, huh?
It's not. He actually had like 20 more snaps. That's why I jotted this down. He had the fewest snaps of any of the edge rushers, so the sack production wasn't there. But part of it's because he's on an ankle. You can watch. I mean, Mensch, you and I talked about it. There are times when you see him wincing.
Cutting it out.
But I'm betting on the traits. He's just 20. He's got the longest arm of any of the edges in this entire class, over 34 and 3/8 inches. Okay? He will long arm you to death. Wait till he goes up against Will Campbell.
Yeah.
Which won't happen for a while, playing for San Francisco. But my point is those long arms to get into guys' bodies, flatbacks. And the thing about him, too, he's a damn good run defender right now.
Right.
And that stuff travels. Like, that's coming with him to the NFL.
So I would be pretty excited about that assessment by Todd McShay. So he's already a really good run defender. I know that that's what the 49ers want to do. Then they can mold him into a pass rusher. And like I said, I think he's going to add some weight. I think he's going to get a little bigger, stronger. The long arms is what I keep going back to with Aldon Smith. And I don't want to be a broken record or redundant here, but that was the thing with Aldon. He had these long vines. And I remember Joe Staley, like it was yesterday, like he's impossible to deal with. He's just so long. And that's what we're talking about here with Mikael Williams. So he's already an edge guy. So that gives him a floor where it's like, okay, even if he's not going to be a double-digit sack guy consistently, at least we have this. Now, again, you want more out of that with 11, but that's what I think is so intriguing. And then for him to say, okay, he had 4.5 sacks here going, but played on the bad ankle. It hindered him a lot of the year. And then to say that he's got all this upside because he played the fewest snaps of any edge rusher, was the longest guy. So you see the traits and why they took him in the first round. But I also told you to contradict myself that all these traits that people fall in love with, that's what you take in the first round, potential, and scares the hell out of you. And I looked at, Cleveland, and we knew this, and we talked about this yesterday. Mason Graham goes 5. He's going to be solid, I think, right out of the gate. So, look, I'm intrigued by the pick. I'm excited by the pick. I want to get to know the guy, the kid, because that tells me everything. And the Niners said yesterday over and over, I watched the press conferences and said, the kid loves football. And that's what the Niners want to know. Do you love playing football? Because there's a lot of guys who love getting paid and love everything that the NFL can provide them, but they don't necessarily want to work. Clearly, the kid has a lot of skills and a lot of potential and a lot of the things that you look for at this position, but does he love it and does he want to get better? He has a lot going for him. Right away, you go to Nick Bosa. I go down to Florida, and I work with Joey and Nick Bosa. Like, okay, if I need to get my pass rush better, how about I go see the Bosa brothers? I mean, I think that's pretty good. They get to run a business about it. So I would do that first and foremost. Kids from Georgia, zip on down to Florida and work out with those guys in the summer. That's what I would do. And I would try to hone my technique because those two guys are technique monsters, Nick especially. So that's what I would do. And then go, you see how they work out and eat? Go do that. Like, he's already a freak, and a lot of it's natural. But go and eat and live and technique and work out and do all those kind of things because Nick's body, my God, ridiculous. So do that. You want to get bigger, you want to get stronger, and they say he needs to get a little stronger. That's what I would do. So anyway, there is Mikael Williams. Let me do one more thing real quick. So I showed you the overview. Here is Lance Zierlein's strengths. Explodes out of the stance, range and quickness, covers ground quickly. I did see a lot of that. He does get after ball carriers, no doubt. more than this is exciting, more than 30% of his career tackles resulted in a loss of yards. Let's see what else got me. Uses tethered, blah, 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 whatever. Keeps long arms active for strip sacks and batted passes. That's huge. That's what you want out of these guys. It's not just getting a sack, it's turning it over. That's what the best guys do now. Good change of direction. That's good stuff as well. Now, weaknesses, because everybody's like, oh, I love everything. Improved base strength. That's the first thing we heard. So, again, go work out with Nick and Joey. Can be stalled by strong hands. Well, that's what offensive linemen do in the NFL. Pass rush approach currently underdeveloped. Go see Nick. Rush can become too straight-legged upright, inside counters, blah, blah, blah. So, look, he's got work to do. He's got all the tools. I keep saying I see ALDON. I see the length. I'm not talking off the field. I'm just talking on the field. So, look, it's a typical first-round pick in that you're drafting for potential. You're drafting for upside. At worst, he's an edge setter. You could have kept Cleve Farrell if you just wanted an edge setter. He was a 4th overall pick of the draft. He was an edge setter, never could rush the passer. There's numerous guys like that in the league. Doesn't mean they're bad. It just means you don't take him at number 11. So hopefully he works out from a pass rushing standpoint. So that is the latest on Mykel Williams. What do you think of the pick? And I'm not asking you to grade it. I'm just saying, what was your initial reaction? Mine was, But, the more and more I'm watching him, the more excited I'm getting. People are excited. He's, like I said, needs to get stronger. Hasn't played a ton. He's going to have a guy light a fire under his ass and Chris Kacerek. We know the kind of coach he is. He's got a guy like Bosa. So, there's a lot of things going for him. There's no question. But here's one thing I would say on a caveat. And I said this yesterday about it. He's got to play right away. So at least he can defend the run, I guess. And they've been looking for an edge guy opposite Nick to rush the passer to take some pressure off him. But you got to get after it. He's got to be, I think, and this is where I'm a little nervous about it when I hear upside and he's only 20 and he hasn't played as much. Sorry, bro, but this defense needs players who can play right now. Not in 2 years. Right friggin' now. So he's got a crash course ahead of him, whatever it takes. I love setting the edge. Wonderful. But if you set the edge and get 4 sacks, they need him now. They need him now. Hi, Papa Jay. Good to see you, my friend. They need him now. I'll reiterate that. There's the difference between them picking at 31 and coming off a Super Bowl and saying, we don't have a lot of the places open in the lineup versus picking at 11 and saying, hey, kid, you got to play. Sam Okawanu can't beat you out. We drafted you 11th. You got to play, and you got to be great. That's all I'm saying. Like right now. Please do like and subscribe. I love it. Like and subscribe to both channels, John Lund Unleashed and the Bay Area Sports Collective, please, on YouTube. Thank you. So give me your thoughts on what you think of their first-round pick. Now, as far as day 2 is concerned, as you can see right there on the chalkboard, 43, 75, and 100. Let me pop this up. Let me share with you, if you will. Defensive tackle becomes a massive thing here. I understand why they went edge. It's the more premium position. Walter Nolan. Let's see this. Would like to record this computer screen and audio. Yeah, whatever. No, I do not want to open my system. Here we go. So let me share my screen with you ever so quickly. Of course, allow. Stop it. Yes, allow. My goodness. All right. I'm on my remote stuff, so it's like all these pop-ups are happening. Stop it. All right, here you go. Here's who's available as we kind of do here. I love this kid from South Carolina, but they don't need a box safety. They've already got that. Will Johnson ran in the 4.6s, people are saying, so that's why he dropped. If he continues to drop, I'd take him at 43, not in the first round. Shadur, we're going to talk about in just a second. I like Mike Green, but they're not going to go edge and edge. Too early for Mason Taylor, even though they could use a number 2 tight end. I don't think that's happening again. Another edge, running backs too early. Burden, that's a nice one, but again, I don't think they're going to do that. Another Ohio State back. That kid's a nice linebacker out of UCLA, but I still think it's too early. Amos I like a lot. A lot of people like Jackson, but they're not going to go edge. Another corner, another edge. This kid is really good at 6'4", 214, and I'm sure Brock is pounding the table for an Iowa State wide receiver. This kid I love out of Arizona, Jonah. He can play guard and tackle. I love that versatility on the offensive line. I could see the Niners looking at this kid. If Darius Alexander is on the board for the Niners, again, I don't know what they're looking for at that position. There could be. I was hoping Kenneth Grant would be there, but no. I would love just to start with a massive dude, and then you could work with the quick penetrator. But this might be a guy that they could look at, Darius Alexander, a little bit undersized. But again, he's a guy that is a penetrator, and Chris Kacerek likes that. Another edge. which is one of the reasons I was like, you're taking an edge that early. I mean, I get it, but there's a lot of them in this draft. Jalen Noel is a guy that runs in the 4.3s. He's more of a slot guy, and I think they might have that position covered, but you never know. I don't think they'd go that high. Jared Wilson is a center. It says the 55th ranked guy right there. I would love him. I don't think they're going to go center that early. Kevin Winston Jr. is I think they need free safety. I think it's an underrated place. You get into a couple of guards in Frazier and Ratledge. I like those guys. Again, Birch is a different kind of an edge, number 64 there ranked. Alfred Collins is a guy I think they could look at. He's a dude that is big from the University of Texas, and he could fill that inside role. Who else here? I'm going to stop doing this in a minute because you're going, dude, really? Who else would? Farmer is a guy that is an underrated defensive tackle prospect out of Florida State. I can see that. I love Damian Porter. He's like a 6'4" corner that ran in the 4.3s. Love him. The Purdue offensive lineman right there, number 81 ranked, he can play guard tackle. I could see that. Ursary is a guy, and I mocked him to the 49ers. Ariante Ursary from Minnesota. Big kid at like 6'6", 330. He's just a right tackle, I think, though. I don't think he has position versatility, which I think the Niners might be looking for. Again, I've said this many times. They could go with him, Ursary, a guy like that, and he could be the right tackle. They move McKivitz to left guard, and their line is set, except I don't love the center. Emory Jones, I know, is a guy that Krug likes. I'm going to stop this in a minute. Milrow shouldn't have been in the green room last night. Feel bad for that kid. Turner is a guy that I think they like as well. Defensive tackle out of Texas A&M, and I'm done. That's it. All right. So there's a lot of – I guess the point being is there's a lot of quality guys on the board for the Niners in round number 2, as you can see right there. I think defensive tackle is a massive need. John Lynch was asked during the press conference last night, and he essentially said, look, this isn't the last time we're going to the defensive line, believe me. So defensive line, I think there's a couple of offensive tackles that they could really like, and they said shuffle the offensive line around a little bit. They'd start going in that in the second, third round. But again, 43, 75, and 100 today, so 3 picks in day number 2. And I think that the 49ers will stick with the thought of the trenches, as we talked about. Trenches, 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 and trenches again. I do think corner is a need for this team. So if one of the corners drops, like I said, Will Johnson, because he wouldn't run and then it came out that he was going to run in the low 4.6s or had run in the low 4.6s. So you start getting into the second, third round for a guy like that, though, and you just turn on the tape and he's really good. So somebody like that, he couldn't play in the slot. He's just not quick enough to do that, but he could be an outside corner, and then you move, obviously, Demo Lenore into the slot. So that might be something like that. So those are some of the things to look at for the 49ers in day number 2. Let me quickly just pop to the entire draft here and just hit you up with a couple of things I liked. Let me see here. By the way, before I do that, let me do this. Nick Wagner, who's the one who said they would pick Mikael Williams. Good job, Nick, from ESPN, our friend. So these are defensive tackles, as he said. Darius Alexander, as you saw. TJ Sanders. I really like Omar Norman Lott, about 315 out of Tennessee. Collins is that big stuffer. Farmer, Turner. So Ty Robinson's about 6'6", but I like him. I would like him. I'd like them to take, if I could just say Omar Norman Lott and then later Robinson, I'd love to hit it twice. So, and as he said right there, 10 defensive linemen went, and Jalen Walker was kind of my favorite. But anyway, 10 went, and so feeling pretty good about that. So there's what Nick wrote. Let me see if I did pop that whole thing up about the first round of the draft. Maybe I didn't, or maybe, there it is right there. So here's the first round. Hopefully you can read that. It's pretty small print. We went through this a little bit. Cam Ward don't love, but okay. Travis Hunter, I get what Jacksonville's doing there. They give up their number 1, but they're probably thinking to themselves, he can play offense, defense. We did get 2 number 1s. Carter we knew, Campbell we knew. Graham we liked, didn't think he was going to drop. What else did I like in that first round? Loveland, that was kind of a surprise by Chicago. Not that they went tight end, but with who? Dallas, as I'm sitting here looking at TVs, all they're doing is talking about the Cowboys. Like, you're talking about a guard. That's a nice pick, though. Grant was a guy I was hoping would fall. Walker, I loved what Atlanta did, getting Walker and Pierce in the first round. Interesting Jackson Dart with the Giants. That's going to be an interesting one to see because they didn't take Shedeur, and he fell out of the first round. So there's some of the things. Pittsburgh doesn't have a pick till the 3rd round, and they didn't take Shedeur, so maybe that tells me that Aaron Rodgers could go there. Love the Barron pick for Denver. I don't love Denver, but there you go. Zabel is for Seattle, just go in the division. versatile offensive lineman. A lot of people liked him. Walter Nolan, who had been mocked a lot to the Niners, he went 16 to the Cardinals, so they're going to have to deal with him for a long time. So that's kind of what happened in the first round itself. So there you go. What else do we have here? As far as stuff. Oh, Sanders in day 2. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 minute. I know this is unusual. Give me 1 minute. I got to run something because there's someone coming. Give me 1 minute. Both Shedeur Sanders' game and who he is as a person and what he's done and the entitlement I get, but put your name on it, man. Like, if you're going to say something about a player, especially that scathing, that's going to probably permeate through the league and cost the kid millions of dollars, who are you? Why do you, I don't know. I just think it's important that people, if they're going to say something about somebody, especially like that, then tell me who you are. Like, it doesn't really hold a lot of water to me if you're going to be anonymous about it. If you really feel that way, maybe I'm wrong in that. But anyway, that's what's going on with Shedeur Sanders. He will be the big story that everybody talks about. Every network, that's going to be the whole thing. Where does he go? I think Cleveland takes him right out of the gate. Yesterday when we were talking about him, and you start seeing that late in the round, if you were with us with the draft show here from Vegas yesterday, you thought to yourself, well, where's the guy going to go? And when New York traded up to 26, I thought, well, that's where he's going. They take Jackson Dart. I don't love Jackson Dart in the first round, but hey, whatever. They take him. Pittsburgh, I was a little surprised. They took Derek Harmon, the defensive tackle out of Oregon at 21, and they don't have a pick till the third round. So Shedeur is going to get taken at some point in the second round. But I was a little surprised by that by Pittsburgh. But that also tells me that, because Mason Rudolph is not a starting quarterback in the NFL, so that tells me that they're probably going to get Aaron Rodgers onto the Steelers, which that's going to be a horrid fit in that town. So, and I told you last night, I thought when Pittsburgh was on the clock, I didn't like the fit for Shedeur in Pittsburgh. I don't think that would have been a great fit. There are certain cities it really doesn't matter. Pittsburgh's just a different deal. Like I said, I worked in Pittsburgh. I didn't think he would be a fit in Pittsburgh. So that's Shedeur Sanders into day 2. All right, let's hit up some stuff on the Warriors quickly. Before we jump out of here, we're going to do a quick show on Friday today, and we appreciate you hanging out on John Lund Unleashed here from Vegas, doing the kind of post-mortem of round number 1 in the NFL draft. But we cannot ignore the Warriors. They play on Saturday night, which looked like a series that was like, well, they're going to win this series. They won game 1. Jimmy gets hurt, changes everything, and it's not whether I think Jimmy's going to play in game number 2, because I think he is. It's how effective can Jimmy be. Here is Steph Curry on the difference with and without Jimmy Butler.
I'm trying to create shots and create. I don't want to talk too much about it. He could be back next game, so I don't want to dwell too much on it. But if for whatever reason he's not out there, I'll carry a lot of the lift and the load on trying to create shots and create advantages. We'll have different rotations out there, but there's a couple plays that we call for him specifically, but the rest of it is just trying to make the simple play, not turn the ball over, hit the open guy, set solid screens, shoot if you're open. It's normal basketball. It's just a matter, can we do it consistently enough, make enough shots? I don't think it's too much rocket science. We just got
it. Exactly right. Now, we all know this because we lived through it. Jimmy Butler, they were 25 and 26. They were middling. They were a playing team. We know Jimmy saved the season. Without Jimmy Butler, they are down there, I think, with Sacramento and Dallas, and I think they're already in the playoffs. I think, and I've said this many times, Steph Curry is asking for a trade. It completely changed this franchise. And so for me, Jimmy Butler and not having Jimmy Butler, or having Jimmy Butler but not an effective Jimmy Butler or not a playoff Jimmy Butler, is going to be the difference in the series. If Jimmy can play and Jimmy plays at a really high level, then the Warriors win the series. If they don't and he can't, then the Rockets probably win the series. And even if they win the series with a compromised Jimmy Butler, it's going to be hard from this point forward. So if they're playing like they were before, and we all know the numbers, best defensive efficiency-wise since they got Jimmy, and offensively what they've done, and he's just a perfect complement to Steph Curry, a true Batman and Robin situation. So it's not a matter. I would be beyond shocked. You and I will talk again throughout the weekend here. I will be beyond shocked if the Warriors, if Jimmy Butler didn't play. Now, whether Jimmy plays well or not, or like playoff Jimmy or not, is the question. I think he's going to be fine. They're going to shoot it up. He doesn't play a wallflower game of basketball. He is involved. He's in the mid-range. He's getting physical. He's grabbing rebounds. He's playing defense. He's playing 40 minutes. Can he do that? Can he be that guy? Is he going to be limited to 30 minutes? Like, that's where the big questions are. And then if so, can Steve Kerr talk to Jonathan Kuminga, because he's the likely replacement, at least for minutes, if not games, if Jimmy doesn't play, but he's going to play. And you need to talk to Jonathan Kuminga and say, look, I know you're pissed at me. I know you're pissed at the organization. I get it. But you can't give the effort that you gave in game 2 against the Rockets. Now, maybe you were surprised to be coming off the bench as a professional. You got to always be ready. But you know what? He's a young guy. I get it. But now he knows. And a lot of athletes say, well, I just want to know my role. Okay, well, your role is whenever you're called on to play, and to play well, and to play hard. He didn't do that in game number 2. At least play hard, at least effort. And I just didn't see it. So coming into this game, I'm sure they've told him, look, this is the status of Jimmy. And maybe if Jimmy isn't ready, or Jimmy gets re-injured or whatever, you got to be ready. So all of a sudden, Jonathan Kuminga becomes a key figure in this series. And we know this. He played well against Houston during the season. Averaged 21.3 points per game and had a career-high 33 on December 5th. So Jonathan Kuminga all of a sudden gets thrust into a position where he might be a major player in this series if Jimmy Butler can't be Jimmy Butler. So that's the story in the Warriors. The Giants pen again. Landon Roop was not great. The boys rally and win again. Landon Roop, who the last 2 starts, he had 20 swings and misses 2 starts ago, and then Saturday, was phenomenal. And then yesterday, and this is what a 5-starter is. So I'm not down on him. 6 in 3 2/3, 6 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, 3 walks. That's what killed him. And that's, 78 pitches. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. That's killing your pen. Spencer Belbiv DeBivens, who hasn't been my favorite, but I got to start coming around on, gave up nothing. Did a couple of walks, made you a little nervous, but nothing. Eric Miller has been great this year, and I've never been a huge Eric Miller guy, but there he is, pitching well. And that's kind of what bullpens are about. Guys can have up and downs. Tyler Rogers is Tyler Rogers. And Camilo Duvall all of a sudden is saving games and pitching well. And I still think that Ryan Walker is going to be fine, but it's nice to have a guy like Duvall if he's getting his confidence back and pitching the way he's pitching. But as you look at runs for the bullpen, 0. And that's what the bullpen's been doing all season long. Landon Roop can't go 3 2/3. I know he's your number 5, and 5s are wild cards in a rotation. I'm a big Landon Roop guy, but you know what I'm going to say? You can even say it for me. I like Hayden Birdsong, so we'll see. I'm not advocating taking Landon Roop out of the rotation at all. I'm just saying that you got a guy who's pretty good. So whether that's Hicks continuing to struggle, whether that's Landon Roop, whatever the case may be, but it's worth keeping an eye on. I'm not saying Landon Roop should be out of the rotation for the Giants. I'm not saying that at all. Continued things. Mike Yastrzemski continues to hit well. What can you say about Jung-Hoo Lee? He certainly looks legit. Again, what are we, 26 games into this thing at 40 if this is continuing? That's really the first barometer, the first marker in the season, 40 games in. So we'll see if these guys are still doing that, but they're continuing to do what they do. You see how big defense is because the Brewers' defense yesterday wasn't very good, and the Giants play solid defense, so big difference. Finally, let me do this, and I guess we'll call this the Sweet Clean Family-Friendly Caboose Pistol. Phenomenal descriptions here. Bald dude falls on his face, and you're probably familiar with this, but if you're out of market, you don't know this. First of all, welcome. But second of all, the Giants employ bald dudes and bald dudettes on either side, and they're usually older, not so athletic. And this is what happened yesterday, and great call by Dave Fleming. and Mike Krukow. I mean, that was outstanding. Fleming's a Stanford guy, so he should know all those kind of things. Faceplant. That's got to be embarrassing, though. You're never going to live that down. I mean, I don't know, wife, friends, whatever. They've got to have a video of that. They've got to have a big picture, like a giant picture of him with the faceplant. That's got to be in the house somewhere. Sorry, Paul. Very smart guy, clearly, writing physics books. But, yeah, they got you on the faceplant, and then they just continued to show it again and again and again. So whatever you were known for before, physics books, whatever, you're Paul the faceplant guy now. 100%. Like, there's going to be pictures. There's going to be video. People are going to have a phone. You know Paul, the faceplant guy. Oh, Paul, the faceplant guy. I remember that game. Oh, my God. He's Paul, the faceplant guy? No, he wrote physics books. No. He's Paul, the faceplant guy. That's what he is. So he's going to be that the rest of his life. I feel bad for the guy. So there is Paul, the faceplant guy, and that is your sweet, clean, family-friendly caboose pistol. Let me get out some comments and thoughts because I have gone on a bit of a tangent here for quite a while about a number of different topics. But again, you want to hit me up on the draft, we can do that. I just wanted to make sure to acknowledge other things like the Warriors playing a fairly important game on Saturday and the Giants continuing to get it done. Unbelievable. I mean, those guys are so good. So good. Good morning, Jake. Good to see you, my friend. Oh, let's do some we got some supers up here. Let me make sure I hit the supers. Did I already hit this one? Yeah, we still, oh yeah. Todd, my wife. You know what? Hang on a minute. I'm going to do something here. Let me see if she's up. Let's see if you can hear her. I shouldn't do this to her. Can you hear her? Let's see if she's up. Hey.
How are you?
Good. You're on the air, so don't curse. How you feeling?
I'm good. Almost done getting ready. I definitely need a coffee.
You need a coffee? How you feeling?
Pretty good.
Okay. Checking.
Not bad.
All right. You're up? You're moving?
Yeah.
All right. We'll grab some coffee. All right. Just want to make sure. I'll talk to you soon. All right. We'll see. I'll talk to you later.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Bye. Yeah. All right. She's alive. Just checking. Oh, I should have said. I should have say fresh pot. Sorry. Can't call her back. I'll have her do it tomorrow. I promise. Let's see. Earth Day. Is today Earth Day? It is Earth Day? Okay. I'll take your word for it. Thank you, Todd, for the supers. You can super anytime. It'll guarantee to get your stuff on the air. Good morning. Yeah, there she is. Yeah, you saw her yesterday. She was afterwards. She was so jacked up. She's like, I think everybody liked me. I was sitting right there next to you, and I think we got lots of comments because of me. And I'm like, whatever. It's not your show. Know your role. I'm just kidding. I don't think she realized. I said, you're on the air. And I don't think she realized what was going on. She's like, when are you done? I'll be coming down soon. I'm like, whatever. What else do we have here? By the way, Daniel, I'm really sorry about that bet not coming through, man. Yeah, that's true. She could curse all she wanted. I didn't want her to say something, I don't know what she could have said that was going to offend anybody. Nothing, really. Nothing was going to offend me or her. By the way, I feel really bad, Daniel. Daniel was the one who had over 2.5 on quarterbacks. And Ward was always going to go at 1, but you had 31 chances to get 2 more quarterbacks in there. Jackson, Dart, and then, you thought Cleveland. But then Cleveland was looking at the board going, well, nobody's going to – I don't have to trade up. So they didn't. So anyway, let me double check on everybody, make sure everybody's good today as we're live from Vegas. And here's what's going to happen the rest of the day. So I'll check in from various points. So make sure you have your alerts on. And then tonight during the draft, what I'm going to do is I'll pop some shorts in and things like that and get my opinion out on what the 49ers are doing as far as their picks are concerned. So keep those alerts on and I'll do that. Let's see what else is going on here. Let's see. Is Kuminga? Let me see. Yeah, I think he knows. Great question, Steve. Is Kuminga aware he's costing himself money? Teams hate to pay a potential trouble player. He's got so much potential, and that's such a bad word. And I've explained it a million times why. But teams still love potential. Mikael Williams is potential at this point, and potential means you just haven't done it. But people love potential. That's why in the first round they don't take solid players. They try to swing for the fences. Kuminga still has that alluring athleticism and all these different things. I've told you this a lot. There have been times where the Warriors have been extremely frustrated with him and his immaturity and so forth. that's not really the reason why, though. I don't think they're going to. Well, yes, it is. It's part of the reason they're not going to give him the money. But the other part is Jimmy Butler's here for 2 more years after this one. And in that time, Jonathan Mingo's got to get paid, and I just don't think they're going to do it. So I think they're going to trade, and I've said this a million times. I think it's for a big. But I agree with you, Steve. He should be smart enough, or at least his representation should be smart enough to tell him, dude, come on. You got to be ready, and it's going to cost you money. And they have said that to him. But, you know, you can say it till you're blue in the face, and anybody who's a parent knows this about your kids. But a lot of times they just have to experience it for themselves. What else? A Saturday must win for the Warriors. I don't disagree with Steve on that one. What else do we got? Sanders could be a Saturday pick. I think Sanders is going today. In fact, like I said, I think Cleveland's going to take him right away in the second round. I think he's going to go extremely early. I think it makes a lot of sense for Cleveland. Cleveland had extra picks with the Travis Hunter trade. They went from 2 to 5. You know that. So Travis Hunter went to Jacksonville, Mason Graham. I think that they are just really done with Deshaun Watson. I don't know what they're going to do with him financially, but they don't have anybody else on the roster. What is Kenny Pickett going to be their starting quarterback? No, he's not. So they've got Flacco, and they have Kenny Pickett. That's not going to get it done. So they're going to take Sanders, and I think hopefully they're going to think, okay, he's humbled a little bit. He was a second rounder. I don't know that that's going to be the case. As we know, that's a blue-collar town, kind of like Pittsburgh is, and they're just not going to put up with any shit. And I think that's one of the reasons why Pittsburgh didn't take Sanders. There are certain markets where that whole thing that he does not going to work. And so, you know, look, he's got some accuracy. He can do some things. I didn't think he'd fall out of the first round because quarterbacks are so valued and they get pushed up the board so much. Cam Ward's a perfect example. I wouldn't have taken him, but we'll see how good he is. Anything else about who you like today, who you don't like, what position you'd like to go? Mikael Williams, do you like that? Do you like that pick? Give me your thoughts on those kind of things. Do remember that even when I'm off the air, hit me up with your comments right under. Give me some comments. Hit me up with the like. Also, at John Lund Radio, where a lot of people are watching this morning on X. You can hit me up there with questions, comments, and thoughts, and I'll jump on and I'll answer questions there, or I'll just hit you back. So any of those things that you want to do, we can do as well. Hi, Dom. I don't know if I said good morning to Dom. I don't know if I said hi to the 1420. Good to see you. 5-3, good to see you. Niners love watching Brendel on his back. Don't get me started. Do not get me started. That's why, look, I would love Jared Wilson, the center from Georgia. He's a pure center. Teams love versatility. A guy, if he's an interior guy, they want him to play guard and center. If he's a tackle, they want him to play tackle and guard. And Wilson is a pure center. He's really good. He only started 1 year at Georgia. I don't think the Niners will take him. They're going to take him. But I don't think they'll take him. He's a pure center. They want a guy who can play numerous positions. I'm with you on Brendel. It's middle pressure for Brock Purdy, who's 6'1". That's terrible. And he's okay at run blocking, but pass blocking, he gets pushed back too much. He creates a muddy pocket for Purdy in the middle, and Purdy can't see. And I think it's a major problem, and I think the 49ers should address it, but they may address it with a guard who can play center. But I really like the kid out of Georgia. But another thing that you get nervous about in this process, you try to eliminate as many ifs as you can, and he was a guy who only started 1 year at Georgia. Now, that's high level, but still, you'd love a center who's going to make those line calls and be the leader of your offensive line to have a little bit more, start a little bit more like Creed Humphrey when he came to Oklahoma, had played forever. Linderbaum, who the Ravens took in the first round a couple of years ago. I think he's an Iowa guy, played for a number of years. So you'd really love at that position to have a little bit more experience, but that kid is going to get taken. He's big, he's strong, he's fast. He was great at the combine. I think he's like 6'3", 315, 310, something like that. But he had great numbers at the combine, so somebody's going to draft him regardless. So anyway, there's that. Anything else today? Yeah, did you hear that? I want to dance with somebody. Yeah. Yeah, I did not get into the position here in my little corner that I've got at this coffee joint, but really everywhere. Look, I mean, there's sports and betting everywhere. It's hilarious. Oh, by the way, is there anything better in Vegas? So, you're hanging a little bit. You don't feel the best. But, I got an energy drink this morning, plenty of water, a little Alka-Seltzer. I feel fine now. I'm rolling. And so I come around, I walk around the corner, right? Get out of the elevator, feeling good, looking for my spot. I turn the corner, and this dude is just horking a lung dart, just like he's making love to the thing, sweet love. And he's just like, oh. And I turn around the corner. I'm like, oh, my God. And I caught him just mid-puff, right? Just blowing out a smoke ring. And I come around the corner like, oh, my God. Like, and I feel bad for people that's just, they're addicted and that's what they have to do. I've never been a smoker or a midnight toker. And, like, you get out of the shower. I always think this, and it's a massive addiction. You ever seen somebody like standing out in the rain, freezing their ass off, and they got to have a cigarette like first thing in the morning? That's the addiction. It's so strong on them. Like, you get out of the shower. It's the best you're going to feel all day, right? You just got out of this hot shower. You feel great. Man, life's good. And then you ruin it right. You brush your teeth. You feel good. You feel fresh. And then you go, Marlboro Red. And it's like, dude, like, it's all gone. Like, you smell like death. Everyone smells like death. Your clothes smell like death. Like, all these kind of things. And, like, it's first thing in the morning. So I got down here about, I don't know, 8:30 or 8:30. Yeah, about 8:30 Pacific down here to the bottom level. And I turned the corner, and this dude's horking the smoke. And I'm just like, dude, that's as good as you're going to feel all day. And then right away, in 2 seconds, you ruin it. Like I said, it's the addiction, and I feel bad for the dude. But don't pass it on to me. But that's what happened. I came around the corner just at the wrong time and just right into it. And I'm like, oh, God. You know, I'm not some prude or something. Whatever. Do what you do. Live your life. It's just don't blow your smoke on me. He didn't mean to. I didn't dirty look him or anything. I was just like, oh, my God. Like, I felt bad for him. I was like, dude, I just got out of the shower. I feel good. Even though I don't look like I showered. I look terrible. But, you know, I just feel bad for the guy. Because it's like, you know, he's like I said, he is just like, making sweet love to my cigarette. And I'm like, ugh, bro, that's not good. All right. Anyway, that's just me. Hey, Brock, good to see you, brother. What do we got here? Don't lie. I seen you on classic, man. Classic. Love it. All right. I hope everybody has a great rest of your day. Here's what, like I said, I'm not going to do a full show for day 2 of the of draft. That's probably going to be the Krug show. I got some things business-wise. Got to get some more sponsors on the show down here to talk to the betting people to get on the show, make us some more money around here. So I'm going to be doing some things like that today, taking care of some business. But I will, throughout the day, be popping on and giving you thoughts on the draft or popping on through the night, and anything else breaks during the day, whether we get Jimmy News or anything like that. Keep your alerts on at John Lund Unleashed on YouTube. Also, make sure that you join Bay Area Sports Collective on YouTube. It might be the Bay Area Sports Collective, but it's got that B like you see there, BSC. Make sure that you join that because I'm also broadcasting on Bay Area Sports Collective. We've got other shows on there, the Tom Tolbert Show, Polymax Particles with Creative Tony. We added Rod Brooks. And as I told you yesterday, amidst of the drinking, and by the way, that was a nice effort by Skills last night, to say, okay, what's going on? Because you had seen that I had a couple cocktails. I've told you in the past, and this is 100% the truth, that I'm a terrible secret keeper. And I got texted yesterday, what do you think of these names? Would you have any objections? And I said, absolutely not. Let's go. There's like 5 or 6 really good names on there. So you thought that you could get me, and you might. I'm bad at this, but I did get reprimanded once already, and then was reiterated in a follow-up text, Lund, don't say anything. And I said, okay, I won't. So I won't. All right. Yeah, smoke. I mean, I'm not kidding you. I'm not lying. I'm not saying this for the effect. I turned the corner and it was just like, and the guy did look at me like, you know, sorry, bro. But it's not his fault, and I wasn't mad. It's just, that's what you are. I love it, man. Wait, are they adding more people? Yes, Tacky, they are. Absolutely. They're going to add. So 100%. Was the cigarette the caboose for the day? No, I mean, the caboose was more about the faceplant guy. This was more
takes
caboose,
the curve
right?
low.
This guy. Watch this. Oh, is this the end of it? Oh, this is the end of it. Here.
Let's
What
worry there,
caboose
Paul.
was this? Let's fast forward.
Everything's relative.
Come on, Paul.
Yeah, let's break.
That is outstanding. Faceplant guy. Paul, the faceplant guy. Tacky, get Lund to talk. Believe me, I'm sure I will probably screw that whole thing up. But, yes, they're adding more people, which is very, very cool. We knew that they were going to do that. So it's going to be cool. It's going to be a great place to be. So jump on it early at Bay Area Sports Collective on YouTube. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out on a Friday. I hope you have a great weekend. We will speak at you tomorrow morning as we do the Saturday show. I'm not going to be doing a bottom of the pint tonight. I apologize. And I think Krug's going to be doing a bunch of draft stuff because he loves the draft more than anything. I think Dom was the one who just said that. Let me see here. I think Dom was the one who said that Krug's already got a mock draft for 2029, and I think he probably has a mock draft for 2029 already out. So make sure that you check it out. Is smoking good for you? And I just didn't know that. I mean, it could be. I mean, that because they come up with everything. Smoking is actually good for you, everybody. It'll help build your lung power. Like, okay, we'll believe anything right now. What else do we got? I guess that'll do it. Everybody have a great day. If you missed anything on the show, all you have to do is go back to the beginning of the YouTube show, come over to YouTube, or shortly thereafter, I will put the chapters up on the show, and then you can click on the things you want. 3/4 of the show, maybe more, was about NFL draft and reaction. As you can see there on episode 126, Drafting Williams, John and Kyle reaction. The Todd McShay stuff was really interesting. He played the fewest amount of snaps of any edge in the draft. So when you see only 4.5 sacks, kid has a lot of upside. I keep comping him to Alden Smith on the field only. So there you go. Sanders in today, 2 picks I liked. Warriors game 3, you heard from Steph. Jimmy's going to play. It's just how effective he can play. I'd be shocked if he didn't play on Saturday night. Giants get it done with the pen again. And Bald Dude, that is the show for this Friday. What is it? The 25th of April, episode 126. All right, please like and subscribe to both channels. Like Papa J always says, appreciate everybody. Everybody have a great Friday. Everybody, please tune in tomorrow. Have I done all the supers? Oh, there you go. There's Todd right there. Baseball show with Krug tonight. Chug beers. I will come back. We will come back tomorrow, and I apologize that we're not going to do that tonight, but I've got some things to do, and I know that he's going to be draft heavy for, like you said, the mock draft in 2029. So everybody have a great day. Make sure you like, subscribe, and keep those alerts on. Appreciate everybody. Have a great rest of your Friday. I'll speak to you throughout the day and tonight. Saturday show tomorrow. We'll get into all of it. Thanks for hanging out from Vegas with John Lund Unleashed.
Thanks for hanging out with John Lund Unleashed. We'll try to be better next time, though I wouldn't hold my breath. Please like and subscribe on the John Lund Unleashed Pod YouTube channel. Watch live shows weekdays at 8 a.m. on YouTube, Instagram, and X. And make sure to have your alerts on for shows throughout the day or night. All things Lund can be found at johnlundunleashed.com. johnlundunleashed.com.
Goodbye!